2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah.
Hello and welcome to the EFM Health Club Podcast. My name is Justin Waring, and with me, as always, to break down everything health and fitness is both Jason Jesusius and Wade Brady. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
Good, thanks, Justin. How are you, mate?
Excellent. Another fine morning up here in Sydney. Wade, how was your holiday? You've been gone for months.
Well, I did my homework and listened to the recording while I was gone, and I need to buy you a map because Normanville isn't in the Riverina; it's on the Fleurieu Peninsula. That's the first thing. The champagne jokes went a little bit far too, I thought. I'm actually a beer drinker. But no, the holidays were good. I did notice listening to the podcast back, which was a really good one, by the way. My son is a celiac, and it was a very good listen. But geez, you guys are professional without me.
Yeah, it was very tight. It wasn't a lot of going on, wasn't it?
I'll have a think. You said something which really made me laugh, but I'll think of it at some point.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was a really good holiday. It seems like the holiday doesn't end. Public holidays just keep popping up. Another one tomorrow. So anyway, I suppose you can't complain about too much time off. Spend more time with the family and try and get the work-life balance.
Yes. People listen to this obviously at different times, but we've just finished Easter, and so a 4-day weekend down here in Australia, wherever you're listening, and then we're going into what we have in Australia as Anzac Day on the Friday. So we had Friday off for Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Easter Monday, 3 more days and another long weekend. So I don't ever remember this happening. Easter's really late, but I could put up with it every year. That would be fine. Maybe throw in another public holiday in March because it's a long time from early January to April. Yeah, I really think we should have more public holidays. I'm for it.
I like my job, and I don't really mind working.
Oh right, okay.
Mondays and Fridays.
You don't watch TV.
You don't work a day in your life.
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't watch TV. You prefer to read novels and books and textbooks. You're that kind of person, Wade.
Well, there's 9 AFL games every weekend at the moment, so my weekends are busy.
We missed you, mate. It's good to have you back. I'm glad you had a good time on your way.
No, it was. Thank you, but well done on your interview last week.
Yeah, look, Andrew was outstanding. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that guy has is amazing. And across a broad spectrum of topics too. So it was really good to have him on. And we look forward to some other guests coming up soon. But we thought we'd do kind of revisit something we did last year in terms of getting to the gym. So we're reaching that point of the year. So we mentioned we're in April. We've had a few months where some new people have started at the gym. Maybe they're dropping off. We're coming into winter, and it's now the time when people start to drop off the gym or haven't quite established the habits that they would like, and are maybe feeling a little bit anxious about going back. Or if you've had a late start to the year and you're thinking, yes, I want to start at the gym, and you're feeling that anxiousness of, all right, I've got to walk in there tomorrow. I'm walking in tomorrow. I'll start on Monday, that kind of stuff. We're going to go through some of the reasons people might be feeling anxious and how to overcome that anxiousness of either getting back into your gym routine or starting one. Now, the common kind of advice to people in terms of getting started in the gym is just go. You know what? Just show up and you'll be fine. But I think it runs a little deeper than that. It's a little bit harder than saying, just do it. Like Nike have a nice logo. but it doesn't always work for people. People get anxious particularly about starting. Do you guys experience that? Like often people, when they come to join the gym, they say, I've been trying to do this for a little while.
Massively, of course, yeah. I want to ask you guys a quick question off the top. I still experience it every now and again, randomly. I just about going and getting started. Maybe it's just wake up the wrong side of the bed, having to go to say hello to I don't know. Yeah, it's not everyone's.
I think I experience it in different kind of circumstances. I go to my gym and that's it. I don't do anything else, and I go running. But I experience that similar anxiety going into, say, if we're, over Easter my wife and I looked for a bit of furniture. I don't want to talk to a salesperson. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, because it makes me feel a bit anxious, and I feel like at some point I'm going to have to buy something, even if I don't want it, because this person spent a bunch of time with me. So that anxiety is kind of real in all different situations. So I completely understand having to walk into a gym and not know what's going to happen. So, yeah.
What are some of the reasons that people get anxious? Why do they feel anxious, Justin? What?
The fear of the unknown and is always the kicking off point. But then most people react to a picture they have made in their own head. So we were speaking to James about a few weeks ago about marketing gyms, and we spoke about rebranding exercise. So people are commonly a bit fearful about being exposed as not very fit, not looking like everyone else is potentially going to look like in the gym. So before you walk in a gym, you assume everybody's really fit. If you're a guy wanting to lose weight, you have this picture of a whole bunch of young girls in there looking really nice and fit. And if you're a lady, you have these picture of these massive blokes with huge muscles looking really fit. And that's not not somewhere that you want to be a part of. So the images we're conjuring up in our mind is so far removed, but they're very real to us. And that idea of being exposed and being the person that everybody looks at as the outlier stops a lot of people, I would fear.
And the other one too, I find it's really common is people feel silly because they don't know the names of all the exercises or the equipment. And I guess when you learn it all, you feel empowered. So if you don't know a lot of the stuff, whatever the opposite of disempowered, I don't know what the opposite of that is, but that's people would get a lot of anxiety about having to front up again when I don't know anything. I have to ask all the time. Every day I have someone say, I'm so sorry I had to ask. And I look at them like, that's what I'm here for, though. Not just here for my good looks.
It's that feeling of being vulnerable. They feel vulnerable, that they have to rely on somebody. People generally don't want to feel vulnerable.
On the lines of feeling vulnerable, it's also coming into an environment where they might feel like the outsider. Like it might be perceived that there's a bit of a clique at whatever gym they're going to. There's a lot of people there that know each other that would feel like a clique. I'm the outsider. They don't know me yet, and they're probably not going to know me. But I'm going to be looked at, or I'm going to feel like I'm on the outer, and maybe I'm not feeling welcome. Maybe I'm not feeling warm and accepted in that environment. For some of the other reasons that you've already mentioned about the self-consciousness regarding fitness or shape or whatever. So
we thought we'd run through a few, I guess, strategies for overcoming this anxiety that people have around, like I say, both entering the gym for the first time or going back. There is also a capacity for people after they've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. They haven't gone for a month, 6 weeks, whatever, to go, I can't go back there. People are going to ask me where I've been. the trainer's going to yell at me for not being committed. And so they avoid it for even longer. We're also talking directly to those people to say, number one, we want you back. We're not going to yell at you. But number two, here's some strategies to make yourself feel better about coming back. So the first thing I'd suggest is to mentally rehearse the process. So we hear about visualization and mental rehearsal for sports people, and you can sometimes see in the AFL or in golf or in tennis, the player will close their eyes and mentally rehearse what they're about to do, particularly if there's a set shot for goal. I assume sometimes they'll close their eyes or they have their practice kick. They'll swing the leg. So this is what it feels like. In golf in particular, we visualize the shot. We have practice swings. We make sure we feel what's going to happen before we actually go and do it. So going through that process of getting ready in your mind, walking up to the gym door, opening the gym door, seeing what you want to see, which is probably more like what actual reality, not seeing all of the beautiful people turn around and stare at you, but seeing normal people going about their business, not really focused on you, setting your bag aside, jumping on a cross trainer or a bike to get warmed up, saying hello to the trainer, particularly if it's an EFM, and going through that process. I'm going to do these exercises. Will it help that level of anxiety be reduced? And you'll also get the same kind of neural pathway activity by actually visualizing doing the exercises, so that when you go and do it, you'll feel a hell of a lot more comfortable. Visualization is not for elite sportsmen, it's for everybody. Have you guys ever done anything like that in anything in terms of gym or I try to do it.
Definitely in sport. I played mostly basketball, but a little bit of footy as well. In free throws and in kicking for goal, I'd practice visualizing that not just when I'm about to take my shot, but during the week or before the game, because those are the moments where you've got the time to slow down, take a breath, and actually picture what it is you're going to do. It's also something that's done almost on automation. So to picture exactly how it's going to go and exactly how you should be performing that skill. And I found that really beneficial, especially with the goal kicking. I was spraying them all over the place, and I started practicing a lot, but also visualizing, this is what it looks like when I'm running in. This is what it looks like when I'm standing tall and following through with my kick. And this is the direction the ball's going to go. I'm going to start it to that side of the post, and then it's just going to come right in towards the center. Very.
It's when you're stationary, isn't it? Because I was like, footy and basketball are pretty fast-paced sports, but free throws, there's no real elements. But footy is one where you're trying to judge the wind. Golf, I do visualize, but what happens after never matches up. But tennis would have been. So when I'm going through all the sports, setting a set shot at footy, but serving in tennis, I find I do it like when I'm going to hit it down the tee or wide. You sort of visualize it. It's funny, I've never really thought about it, but I do clearly visualize it. Yeah. And then sometimes it happens. Yeah.
And so those, because the set shot in footy, like I'm not an AFL person, but that's really the only time you're stationary, right? The ball is stationary, you're stationary. And more importantly, it's the only time you have time to think, right? So a bit like getting yourself prepared to go to the gym for the first time in a long time. You have all of this lead up time to think about what's going to go wrong, right? And how bad it's going to feel. And you build up this level of anxiousness. So working your mind to flatten out those peaks and troughs of, I don't want to do this. Oh, no, I'll be all right. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I'll try. Works similarly as it does in sport. And look, in any area of life, if you've got a meeting, a business meeting that you're anxious about going to, visualizing how it's going to go and what you're going to do, and in terms of controlling what you can control, reduces that level of anxiety. I mean, visualization is something that is amazing through all walks of life. So elite sportsmen do it, but it should be, if you can factor it into all parts of your life, it'll make a big difference.
I guess if you go to what we're talking about, the gym scenario, I guess you're thinking about, if this happens, then I can do this. If that happens, then I can say this, and then you feel more prepared, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
When you couple that visualization as well, I know when I've felt anxious, if I've reminded myself, or if someone's reminded me, hey, your fears are just you picturing the worst case scenario. Like, the worst case scenario rarely happens. Really. Yeah. So what you're picturing in your head is, oh, that would be horrible if that happened, but that's probably not going to happen. Like, that's pretty low on the likelihood, right? What's probably going to happen is it's probably going to be pretty uneventful in terms of these fears that you're having. You're probably just going to get in and get about your business. And what that means, in short, is it's not going to be as bad as what I'm thinking it is. It's just me building this up in my head. So let's visualize, like you're saying, Justin, what do I want it to look like and what should it look like? And that's steers it more towards where it's more likely to actually be.
Yeah. You're going to be more bang on to what actually happened. And coupled with that is also, if even as you go through that visualization process, is renaming some of the feelings that pop up as you're going through that process. So the thought of walking in a gym, like, and you know, one of the problems of having windows in a gym is they're all tinted. I'd love for people to be able to see what goes on behind the tinted glass. Then it's a bit more like a fishbowl, people staring at other people exercising. But if we didn't have the tinted glass, people would feel a little bit more relaxed to go, okay, well, that person, they look like me. They're on a bike. They're just pedaling along. That person looks like me. They're lifting weights. That person, but there's a little invasion of privacy there. So we can't do that.
That's so, to build on that, when I went and did my first Tough Mudder, which is like True Grit, the obstacle course, military inspired obstacle course. And then I was anxious for 2 days before, and I really didn't want to do it. I felt sick of butterflies. I was grumpy, even more grumpy than normal for 2 days. And I went with a group of my members, a carload. And I remember, like, I was probably the fittest in the car, but I still had this fear of rocking up. And you see all the people on the promotion material, they're all beasts, And we got there and we pulled up in the car park. I don't know if I've probably told this story before, but I saw normal people and all the anxiety just left in that single moment. I was like, oh, just normal people are doing this. And I thought, why did I build that up to be so much?
Yeah.
And probably the other big one for me, the most anxious I've ever felt in my life, is oral presentations at school. And I could not figure out a way how to overcome them. So I ended up just telling the teacher, put me down for a fail. I'm not doing this. So I think it's good for us to try and identify that feeling and when we've felt it, and then try and put ourselves in the shoes of these new people starting at the gym, because it must be bloody terrifying. And
because you feel, like I say, people start thinking that they're going to feel exposed. One of the other tricks to do whilst you're doing the visualization is to also embrace that feeling of anxiousness, or what you perceive as anxiousness, and relabeling it, because that feeling of anxiousness is also very, very closely related to excitement. So relabeling something as being scared to do something, or being anxious to do something, and being excited to do something. There's an excitement level. I'm going to kickstart my year. I'm going to get back into the gym and go again. I'm excited to do that. That's the butterflies in my stomach. That's what I'm feeling. I'm not feeling anxious.
It's a sign that we care about the result.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And so we tend to always kind of veer towards the negative,
So-
but a slight little twist in our thought processes will reveal that we're a bit more excited than anxious, and understanding that those two things are really
we've talked about
The symptoms are really the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
The same. Yeah.
a bit like hunger and thirst. We confuse the two commonly.
Mm.
Anxiety and excitement, we're going to confuse the two as well very regularly.
Mm.
The other thing I would suggest for people is to anchor their workout with another activity. All right, so let's pair some things up. If you're a morning person or you're a morning gym person, you go, okay, I'm going to go in the morning. Pair your gym workout with grabbing a coffee. Pair your gym workout with getting a drink or something from a shop or another activity. So I do this and then I go to the gym, so that they're a little bit more automatic. So we've been through our visualization, we've done the relabeling, and now let's anchor something. Or I go from work and I drive straight to the gym. I don't bypass. I don't go to. I know I got to get bread, but I should just get a snack because I might feel it. Don't do it. We anchor one with the other, so that you're always going to do the first one. I don't know anybody who's thought, you know what, I don't really need a coffee today. Coffee. So coffee is a beautiful thing to anchor an exercise with. You can have a coffee, have a cappuccino, whatever, and still exercise. Particularly if you're going to do strength training.
You could even put it after though, couldn't you? There's a lady who's got a bit of a niggle at the moment. She had a fall running up at Morialta, and I messaged her, I hadn't seen her much, and she said, "Oh, I'm just giving my shoulder rest, but I'll be in Friday because that's the morning we go out for coffee afterwards."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that acts more a bit like a reward afterwards, but yeah, as long as you can anchor it with anything, if you anchor, the afternoons are a little bit easier because it's work gym, or it's pick up kids from school gym. We don't deviate from that process, so we're going to anchor it to something else that you absolutely 100% have to do.
And then I guess that would get the habit in place a lot quicker because it's already half the habit's already there.
One for the morning people, go to the other end. The night before, I brush my teeth and I get my workout gear out. I put it in that spot so that when my alarm goes, the alarm goes and there's my workout gear. It's there. It's ready. I don't have to do anything. There's no decisions to make. The clothes I've already chosen. I've picked them out. They're already sat there and ready. All I've got to do is put them on and off I go. And once I've got my workout gear on, well, I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sit on the couch in my workout gear and watch telly in the morning, watch sunrise or whatever.
Yeah.
Your workout gear on, first thing, I'm off. Bang, workout.
And no one, like, maybe some people don't brush their teeth of a morning, so it's an evening, so it's a perfect thing to anchor to. I'm definitely going to do that. So when I do this one thing, when I go to brush my teeth, then I get my work. So those two things are anchored. I mean, I don't know too many people that floss every night. So, going after so anchor it to something you absolutely have to do. Yeah.
Well, even this, it's like putting on your Superman cape, like my MyZone belt. It's a bit, the running. If I put that on at home, I'll go and run or do something.
Yeah. Something more physical I'd suggest is to avoid gym peak hours. If you're a little bit anxious about going and, you've done the visualization, but you're still a little unsure, don't go at 5:30 on a Tuesday night, or on a Monday night when we're at the gyms at its most popular. Target some quieter times so that you can make yourself feel a little more comfortable in your own skin. Because there is that moment, you can do all the visualizations. I know this from golf. You can do all the visualizations. You can do meditation. You can do this and that and the other. Have a routine that you go through. And then when you go in golf, when you stand over that ball, doesn't matter what you've done before. If your last thought is, like you would say, oh, shit, this is not going to go well.
I'm getting ready to yell out 4.
Yeah, exactly. So you can do all of these things and get to the front door of the gym and go, oh, I can hear so many people in there. Nah. And you just abort. So make it a little easier on yourself and look at a few times that, you know, and I think Google will tell you the quiet times in a gym, you know, on the Google page.
I've had members be away on holidays or sick or injured for a period of time and out of the habit, anxiety, they want to come back and they've asked me, they're like, what time do you open in the afternoon? Because they want to come and they're hoping I say a lot less because they just, and they've actually like started work. I love this. They've started work a bit earlier to knock off earlier to come in at 4 when it's quieter, just to get the ball rolling again. Do that a couple of times if needed, and then they're fine. They're up and running again. Really smart. Yeah. It's good for people with that flexibility.
Yeah. The other thing to do is to choose, once you get yourself in the gym, choose some like, I guess, winning workouts that you can do, something you know you're going to be able to achieve. Like we've spoken about, you know, chunking it down a little bit so that, you know, you have that feeling of satisfaction, like I'm going to complete this. So choose and talk to your trainer, the EFM trainer, about setting a program for the day that is achievable, like a first session again. I'm not going to feel too sore. We're going to be able to achieve it with relative ease and satisfaction, but still satisfaction. Yeah. Rather than going, right, this is where I was 6 months ago. This is where I start.
Something along those lines, that when I've had people that have had some time away and they're struggling to get back in, a piece of advice I've given that I think is helpful is, like, if they would normally do an hour's workout, hey, you coming back, first one back, come in for 30 minutes, commit to 30, because you can do 30, you know you can do 30. And if you do more, great, but just commit to 30. Anything over that is an absolute bonus. But same lines of what you're saying, Justin, commit to something you know you can achieve, because at least it'll feel like it's a success, and you're not setting the bar so high that you're setting yourself up for failure. So,
and I think you could safely say in all the group training gyms or where there is a coach and a program, it depends on what equipment's available, but I don't think a coach would force you to do the program. If you just came in and said, I'm just trying to get it going again, would it be all right if I sit on the bike for 20 minutes? I don't think you'd find a coach that would say no to that.
Yeah. Well, and if you did find a coach to go, no, the best thing for you to do is to jump straight back in and not worry about tomorrow, he's probably not the person for you.
Yeah. Better off to underdo it than overdo it.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Course.
One of the last things I think is pertinent to this is and we touched on it briefly, but is to have a bit of a workout uniform for yourself. So on days and times when you're trying to get back into it, make sure that you kind of wear a gym outfit that is the most comfortable for you. And if that means, as a lady, shorts and a t-shirt that are a bit daggy, or looking amazing in brand new, what is that, Lululemon tights and whatever, and like literally looking and wearing $1 million, whatever that is for you, so that you feel quite bulletproof, so that you feel your best walking into that gym. So it's almost like a uniform, almost like I think about Iron Man puts on the uniform, so like he's now bulletproof. Doing that for yourself, laying that out the night before and getting ready and going in that gym uniform will help your confidence no end as you walk in the gym, kind of facing a little bit of the unknown.
Even going and getting some new shoes or something, excited to wear them.
Yeah. A very small thing, but a little underrated about, because all of this is about obviously lowering anxiety levels, but feeling comfortable in your own skin, comfortable enough to face what's behind that tinted glass. and to feel confident, ultimately feeling confident. If we don't quite feel confident, but feeling comfortable is enough of a leap, I think, from feeling anxious. Yeah. And the last thing I would do is, once you get that first session done, maybe writing it in a diary. If you're a journal person, writing it in the journal so that you can build on the confidence that you just created established in yourself. Having just a diary, even your online calendar, like gym completed, ticking it off, will feel amazing at the end of it, and inspire the next day with less anxiety attached to that.
Just going back, Justin, to the visualization for a second, on the lines of what you're talking about, visualizing the feeling after you finished, the relief of finishing, the euphoria that we get when we've been exercising. We know, because we've done it before, how good it feels once you've stopped, right? Not just because you're not hurting anymore, but because you feel good, you feel vibrant and energetic, and accomplished and proud and not guilty, right? All those positive feelings that we get once we're done. Think about, visualize how am I going to feel when I'm done? Because once I'm done, that's how I get to feel. And the beauty of that is a reward that we get every single time we work out. It's not, hey, I want to lose weight. That takes weeks, months. How long's a piece of string? It's something that you can lock in every single workout. I feel great after my workout.
Yeah.
It's so funny too, the shift in I've never really thought about this before, but the shift in thinking, like, oh, I've got to sacrifice an hour of my time, which is so precious for a workout. But if you get to the end of the workout, it's flipped totally. You're like, God, that was an hour well spent.
Yeah.
So good. So glad I did that.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys got anything else? That's my list.
I thought you might have missed one on your list when you just briefly went through at the start. Just doing a quick bit of exercise at home, maybe first, just to get the heart rate up, release a few endorphins, and I feel better now. I'll go and do it at the club, at the gym. So that's just another little one that might help. Even jogging or walking to the gym might get you in the headspace or if you're not in the headspace when you actually get there, you can turn around and go back again. At least you've done something.
At least you've got to walk back. Doing a little home workout is a good, like, it's a nice, I guess, build on top of the visualization. So you're used to doing some of the exercise. You might do some squats and some lunges, or lean against a wall and do a wall sit, and some little air punches and some of the things that you would do in a program. Yeah, to kind of like help with that visualization process. So I visual, like, the hard bit is walking in. The next hard bit is completing the exercises. I've done all of it both in my head and physically at home. So they're nice little add-ons. Yeah, good one, right?
Good.
All right. Well, I hope all of that helps. For if you're sitting here listening or in the car listening to this podcast going, all right, I think I need to get back into the gym. There's probably 6 or 7, 8 tips there that we've given you that are a little bit askew to what you would normally get. So normally it's establish a habit and just do it, and all the other kind of cliched ones. These are delving a little bit deeper into, I guess, the psychology that we've seen over the years of people that both have managed to kind of reclaim their exercise routine or establish a new one, and similarly those that haven't and kind of fallen by the wayside, for want of a better term. So we hope all of that helps. We will be back in, we're still oscillating between maybe doing a weekly podcast and a fortnightly podcast. So if you have any thoughts on what you'd like to see, I'm sure everyone likes weekly, but we're just making sure that the podcast is manageable for our time. We can get some really good guests like we've had over the time set up and ready to go. So we're probably looking at fortnightly for the next little while until we can establish a weekly routine for ourselves too.
We want to ensure that quality is there.
Yeah, exactly. And we've also got our normal businesses to run, our normal gyms to run. Jason, you'll find at EFM Mawson Lakes on Instagram, Wade at EFM McGill on Instagram, myself EFM Westmead, and also the EFM Health Club Podcast Instagram page. You will find little snippets of previous podcasts and upcoming information. So that'll do it for another week, boys. How's that?
Listen, like, watch, review, follow, share, all those good things.
Exactly. You should be in marketing, Jace, because I forget that every week. All right, that'll do us. Have a good day.
See you, everyone.